before the world called it Lagos, before the empires of Europe arrived with ships and steel, before the myths of Benin conquest took root, there were people here. The Awori, the Ilaje, the true indigenous custodians of the lagoons, the creeks, the Atlantic winds, and the islands that would one day grow into Africa's greatest metropolis. History, when left unattended, is often rewritten by the loudest voice. But the land remembers, the water remembers, the names, the bloodlines, the stories. They remember. Centuries before colonial maps, before city lights, and before the throne at Iga Idunganran, coastal Lagos was Ilaje land, a Yoruba riverine civilization whose aboriginal homeland lay immediately east of modern Lagos.
One of the earliest kings of Lagos, Oba Shimon, carried the name that spoke loudly in Ilaje dialect, Shimon. I am decorated by the valiant. His dynasty built Iga Idunganran. His diplomacy acquired Lagos prosperity. His lineage linked Awori and Ilaje blood, binding the island's earliest peoples. From him flowed families that still shape Lagos today. Olumedon, Oniru, Akogun, Oluwa, Ashomwer, all carrying the riverine ancestry of Ilaje settlers. To understand Lagos, you must understand water. The Ilaje lived not on land, but along the leading arteries of the Atlantic and the lagoons, fishing, trading, navigating currents that connected kingdoms. From Ajegunle to Makoko, from Umibu to Aja, from the creeks of Apapa to the shores of Lekki, Ilaje settlements blossomed. Their naming traditions remain imprinted on Lagos. Obruneko, Igoshere, Idumambu, echoes of Ilaje language that still whispers in the city's heartbeat.
For centuries, stories have been told, retold, polished, and repolished. That Lagos was founded by Benin, that its first rulers were Edo princes. But history, true history, is not built on wishful narratives. It is carved in blood, migration, wars, treaties, and the stubborn memory of a people. When Oba Orhogbua of Benin marched westward in the mid-1500s, he met his fiercest resistance not in Lagos, but in Mahine, the Ilaje kingdom. The Benin soldiers tasted rock salt there for the first time, celebrated even today in Edo songs. But they also tasted defeat. Orhogbua's son, Oba Ehembuda, attempted the same route, seeking passage through Ilaje territory to Lagos. He never made it. At the Battle of Eluju-Ibila, the Ilaje decimated the Benin army. Commander, captain, ship, crew perished. Even Benin historian Jacob Egarevba confirms that Ehembuda died in that encounter, the only Benin Oba never buried with his ancestors. With his fall, ended Benin's ambition on the Lagos coast.
Some modern narratives insist that a Benin priest named Ado became the first Oba of Lagos. But the truth is simpler and stranger. There was no single person named Ado. Ado was a generic Yoruba word for Edo people, used in Ikale, Akure, and other regions. Ado Kota simply meant the area where Edo settlers lived. Thus, the so-called Ado dynasty in Lagos is a misunderstanding, mistaking a description for a king. When remnants of Benin influence tried to assert power in Lagos, the Ilaje Awori alliance led by Akishimoni resisted fiercely. Forced temporarily to relocate to Apa, Akishimoni launched a campaign of political and spiritual attrition until the last Ado influence crumbled. By his victory, Lagos rulership became undeniably Yoruba, an interplay of Awori, Ilaje, and related groups. After Akishimoni's death, his children were denied the throne, not by Benin claimants, but by internal Lagos politics. Chief Alaga, an Ijesha spiritual servant, seized the moment with Ifa divination and the sword of his son, Ologun Kuteri. He placed his bloodline on the throne. This was not Benin succession, not father to first son. This was Lagos raw, competitive, Yoruba, and fiercely independent.
The Ilaje are the most widely dispersed indigenous group in Lagos State, present in every division, every lagoon settlement, every stretch of the Atlantic coast. Yet their story is often invisible because they lived on water, fished on water, and built lives on the very edge of the land. But Lagos remembers them. Every shoreline remembers them. Every place where the city meets the sea carries Ilaje footprints. This is not a story of erasing others. It is a story of restoring truth. Lagos was not founded by Benin. Lagos was not established by a prince named Ado. Lagos was shaped, brick by brick, tide by tide, by its indigenous Yoruba peoples, the Awori, the Ilaje. Their bloodlines run in the royal houses. Their names fill the streets. Their settlements anchor the creeks. And though time has swallowed many of their villages, their legacy remains, etched in history, in geography, in the soul of Lagos itself. This is their story, the true story.